This is a third-person hack-and-slash adventure game called the Undead. The game consists of 3 levels: the village, the cave, and the boss's palace. It's about this girl, Katana, who lost her family due to this evil creature, and she wants revenge. During the 1560s, dead bodies have turned into the undead, and now they stand in your way. The village has come a long way from what it used to be. I started off with gray blocking to plan out my idea. From there, I added assets into the level to start making it come to life. Once I had an idea of where I wanted to place the assets, I put them in the engine and found problems afterwards, which made me have to replace my assets. I had to then lower my scope to make the game work. I wasn't happy with the finished look. A few weeks later, I came up with a whole new idea and had a finished product that I was happy with. With the finished look, the atmosphere, and design of my level, it all came together with the game concept. Incorporating the cave in the first level really enhanced the level design and changed the way I wanted to create this new version in a good way. Once I changed the skylight and the light source, making it night, that really gave the game the dark, creepy feeling that I was missing in the previous version. I scrapped out the second half of the village, changing it to the cave entrance, adding a new level to the game that I didn't have previously. I created a mind map for all my levels to help better analyze the process and progression of my level. For level 1, I wanted to give the player an open world experience where they can roam wherever they wish. The reason the players should roam around is so they can find health, loot, and different ways to bypass enemy encounters. When the player exits their home, there's a skeleton that will give the player a hint on where they're supposed to head to. If the player misses the hint, there is a cutscene that shows where they need to go. While walking around the village, they will always see the landmark. To get a feel of the village, but also make it look like it's getting destroyed, I created a dark atmosphere with burning houses and trees, bright lanterns and flames to guide the player. I also created civilians who roam around the area. They will run away from danger, and if guards are nearby, they will attack you. There are 3 types of enemies: guards, mage, and on-site enemies. You can tell the difference between them by what they are wearing and by their eye sights. Each enemy types has different color eyes that stand out to the player. To reach the main objective, there are 2 different routes the player can take. One is safer, while the other is more risky. They both still need loot and to find the merchant in order to unlock the path. By reading the note left on the tree, a cutscene will be shown, giving the player a hint in the direction they need to go. The house is yellow, which is a giveaway that is important. Once the player finds the place, they could spend their loot to unlock the bridge. If the player notices a smaller yellow house, they will also see that they need a key to enter. By going to the garden in the center of the map, they will find the merchant with the key. Once unlocked, the player can cross the other bridge quickly because it starts to collapse while crossing. I created a mini cave to make this area special than the rest of the map and give the player something new to see. It is hidden, so the players who like to explore will most likely spot the entrance than players who don't. Once entering the cave, there is a note that mentions the house with the key and lots of loot to be found. The process of the next area is simple. Once you cross over the bridge, the player will now have to enter the cave. This is now the second level, the cave. This level has a linear path. There are some opportunities for the player to choose a stealth approach. This level introduces new gameplay, not only with being stealth, but having to use the environment to get across pathways that are blocked. To make sure the player knows they are heading in the right direction, there will be blue flames that light up and indicate the way to go since the cave is very dark. A cutscene of a wolf appears the more they progress through the level, showing the player where they need to go. There are yellow woods and yellow pillars to indicate to the player that these need to be used. Using these objects will get the player across. When the player reaches a brand new area, they will have enemies to kill if they choose to, and a new mechanic being introduced, having the players jump up the pillars to reach their waypoint. Once the player makes it to the top, they will have a cutscene of the wolf going up the ramp where the player should go. The path does fall apart. The reason I made the pathways get interrupted is so the player can think and use the environment to find new ways to get around. Once they reach the top of the cave, then they use the fast travel system. This is the first time it's shown so they can reach the last level and exit the cave faster. This is the last level. It's filled with high intensity action until they reach the boss. The purpose of this was to fill the player with excitement. The first version I received feedback saying it did not seem scary and it didn't have the right atmosphere when fighting the boss. I changed it by adding flames, fire, and dead skeletons on each of the floors, with having blood on the walls. Each floor has a different amount of enemies, from easy to hard until they reach the boss. Instead of them just fighting their way to the top, I decided to add mechanics from the second level into the first to make it more interesting. Once the player reaches the last floor, a cutscene of the boss will be shown and the battle will begin. The boss has a close and ranged attack. The boss will always come near the player to attack, so you can't just stand around in one spot. There will be missing floors, allowing the player to quickly escape to gather health. Thank you for watching Sapphire's game, The Undead. Voiceover was done by Leah Jackson.